Hi, I'm Carol Jurgensen Sheets, and this is Boo. And I am Carol the coach. I'm here to help you with your sexual addiction. Good job, Boo. Now he's going to lay down and let go. I teach you something about sexual addiction. You know, this is an up and coming field. It's an epidemic. And if you're watching this YouTube, I happen to know that you want some help. And so tonight I'm going to be talking to you about sexual addiction itself and the 3 things that you need to possess to make recovery your own. It may seem a little depressing, but it's honest, and I'm rigorously honest, and that's part of what I want you to be too. So spray yourself with Teflon. I always tell my clients, pretend that you have Teflon, let things roll off, but take it in. But don't internalize it with self-loathing. Okay, so the 3 things that will make your life better if you're an addict and you want recovery is that you do have to have rigorous honesty, and I call that openness. So openness is that slippery slope of being rigorously honest and being vulnerable. You know, I had a man today who's getting ready to prepare a disclosure, which is when he's going to tell his wife everything. It's what she wants. And he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to hurt her. He doesn't want to hurt himself and list all those facts that have been his life for so many years. But he knows it's a gift for his wife, and he wants to be open. He wants to be rigorously honest. So he's going to be vulnerable because he must have said at least 6 or 7 times, oh my gosh, she's going to leave me. She's going to divorce me. I know she's going to divorce me when she finds out all this. Well, the good news is that most women don't divorce. When they find out the truth, they just feel relieved to have had it all. I'm not saying they're not traumatized, because they are. Hearing how you lived your life is traumatizing to the partner. It's traumatizing to yourself. But what I know to be true is if a wife wants to know everything, you owe it to her to tell everything. Now, that should be done with people who have expertise in this process. So that's either a CSAT, Certified Sexual Addictions Therapist, or an APSAT, somebody who has partner training, and preferably both. I mean, when 2 people, the husband and the wife, if the addict is the wife and the husband, they get together with their therapist so that they have somebody in their corner who's helping them absorb everything that's going on, but also is helping push them towards more honesty. And that is essential to developing openness. And again, when I say openness, I'm not just talking about telling him or her the facts. I'm talking about sharing your vulnerability. You know, this man needs to tell his wife, I'm working on this disclosure, but I'm scared to death you're going to leave me. He needs to do that. He shouldn't ask for forgiveness, and he shouldn't look for an apology. But what he needs to do is to totally own what he's done and share his feelings and share his fears. And when you are honest and you share your fears, you're probably going to connect on a deeper level, and that deeper level is what intimacy is all about. Okay, so you have openness. And in sharing yourself, whether it's during a disclosure or during the week ahead or the weeks ahead, or maybe your wife doesn't want a disclosure, maybe it's just about sharing who you are. You need to share your brokenness. And that means you need to share who you are, what path you got on that took you the wrong way. You got to be able to talk about the sadness, the self-loathing, the fear, the hurt, that is inside of you. You see, if a partner is watching this tonight, they may forget that you have hated yourself, that you have engaged in these behaviors because of the compulsion, because of the sexual addiction. But ultimately, after you have enacted the sexual acting out, you have hated yourself. You've said you'll never do it again. You've promised yourself. You've criticized yourself. You've told yourself you're a piece of shit. I know that. I work with addicts all over the country, and it's always the same. It's kind of like taking heroin or cocaine or methamphetamines. You know, most of the time, people are looking for the high when they do drugs, but when they snort, when they shoot up, when they inhale, the high is never what they thought it would be, and they hate themselves for having given in to something that was unhealthy. And so, besides dealing with the openness, you've got to deal with your brokenness. And again, when you do that, you make a big difference in the life of yourself and of the people that you love. And that's a hard process. I mean, it's difficult to be vulnerable. Of course, we're going to fear what I call the 5 fears. Fearing that you're going to be hurt, fearing that you're going to hurt others, fearing that you're going to be abandoned, fearing that you're going to be rejected, or fearing that she or he is going to stick around, you're going to merge, and it isn't going to work because you don't know how to do intimacy. Those are the 5 fears. Okay, so you're dealing with your openness and you're dealing with your brokenness. Now, the more important thing is, are you willing to do what it takes to change? Because changing and sustaining that change is by far what's going to get you to the place where you want to be. You know, it's a weird thing. I run groups. I run sex addiction groups for men. And what I know to be true is that when you have a sex addiction, whatever happens in the group happens outside. So we always work in group therapy to be more vulnerable, be more open, be cognizant of your fears, your feelings in general. You know, anger, sadness, loneliness, fear, and happiness. Because we know when you do that work in group, you do it out there. Now, the bad news is there is no doubt that what you do out there, you do in the group. So maybe let's say you were doing really well and you slipped and you fell off the wagon and you come to group and you tell everybody you're fine. Yeah, you've got 262 days. And you continue to propose that high, that wisdom that you've gotten from recovery, and inside you're lying. And all of a sudden you're reenacting that sexual addiction cycle of perpetuating a behavior that you don't want and then lying about it. And then that makes you feel worse. And once you feel worse, then you lie about it some more, and then that makes you act out again. And it's an auto-exacerbating cycle. Now that's the bad news. The good news is, when you work on what it takes to change, and you do that diligently, you practice your 10 recovery tools, you practice going to a 12-step group, and you get a sponsor, and you read essay or essay book, and you do the 12-step work, and you follow the fellowship, and you seek a CSAT, you go to group therapy, you read, and you read meditational books, inspirational books, recovery books, you pray, you meditate, and you participate in healthy circle behaviors, you are much more likely to succeed, especially if, along with those 10 recovery tools, you get filters, you take polygraph tests, you do what it takes to say, I am the new and improved, and damn proud of it. So again, when you do those things, when you have a systematic plan for change, you will make your life a lot better. And you can deal with that openness, you can deal with that brokenness, and you can feel good about the sustained changes that you're making. Okay, so I got to ask you, what grade would you give yourself on openness? Yep, not just openness, but vulnerability. What grade would you give on brokenness? Do you know where your problem areas lie, and are you open about those areas? Because you have to have that awareness. You have to break through that denial to get to the other side, which of course is strategically planning to change and to sustain that change. What grade would you give yourself for your plan, for your action plan to change? What grade would you give yourself for sustaining it, for having everything in place to feel really good so that you feel like you gained something instead of lost something? We all know that when you give up addict behavior, initially you feel like you lost your best friend. But when you gain strength from the program, strength from recovery, strength from self-awareness, strength from therapy, you are the new and improved, and you like who you are. Because when you work it, it works. All right, so I'm Carol the coach. And if you want more information about recovery, you can go to www.blogtalkradio.com/Sex Help with Carol the Coach. Because with that radio show, you will hear experts all over the world sharing their expertise with you for free. And I'll catch you again on more Sex Help with Carol the Coach. Recovery's worth it, I promise you that. Have a great week.